just appreciate y'all being here and excited about a new season. Do want to take a moment. I want everybody to keep Deanna Jackson Durrett, our associate head coach, in your thoughts and prayers. She's mourning the loss of her father, and it's no fun. I've done it. I've had to deal with it, and it's our destiny as children. But just want to keep her in our thoughts and prayers. And that being said, excited about our team. We are way different, y'all. I've said that about the last 3 years, but we are way different this year than those teams, just extremely young and inexperienced. Our young players are all going to play. They're all going to be factors in any success that we have. At the same time, when you have youth or inexperience, doesn't necessarily, we're not just talking about freshmen now, we're talking about some inexperience even in the sophomore and junior class. When you have that, you're going to have some inconsistency, and that's my biggest concern right now. We talked to our team the other day about the domino and sequentiality of things needing to happen in order for you to be successful. But if you get that first domino right, whatever that domino is, when it falls, everything else falls into place. And I think for us, that first domino could be a number of things, but it could be consistency. And so for us, I think that's going to be the real challenge. Just love my team. I love our kids. They're fun to coach. They're fun to be around. They're a loose group. They're just fairly happy most days, and they work. I think they're fairly compliant, and that's always fun. And so just a really unique and good group. I think our future is extremely bright with this group, from our freshman class to our sophomore class. Jordan's our only senior. We've got 2 or 3 juniors, but 3 juniors right now. But for the most part, we're a fairly young, inexperienced team. So we've got a lot of work to do, long way to go. I know I'll be asked about the polls and where we are and all that, and I just think the verdict for this team's still out there, and it's way out there. We have a very good schedule. We're going to play a lot of really good teams early, some ranked teams, and I think that'll give us a great indication of what the potential is and the promise is for this group moving forward. But it should be a really exciting team to watch. I'm excited about our health. It's improving with Promise and Chloe. They played significant minutes on Sunday at Houston and in our scrimmage, and just super encouraged by that. Certainly they both have a long way to go, but I thought yesterday in practice both of them looked, they're knocking the rust off, y'all. And you can throw Jordan in that group too. She's knocking the rust off, hadn't not played since the end of March, 1st of April, and she's still knocking the rust off. But man, she's knocked off a lot. There's days she looks extremely good, and so just encouraged by all that. And I think again we've got a lot to work on. I can't believe we're going to play the Division II national champions on Monday. I don't know what I was thinking scheduling them. They are really good, well coached, very disciplined team, which will be great for us. It'll be a great challenge for our young team, and at the same time, we need that. So I think they've already played a couple of games against some top 20s and done extremely well. So that's coming up on Monday at 7, and we'll look forward to that opportunity.
If you have any questions, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start with Robbie.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Jordan kind of knocking off the rust and all that. Where does she fit in what you want to do offensively? Do you like her? I know you like her too, but do you want to use her at point guard some, or what? Where is that at right now?
Yeah, I don't want to use her at 1 if I don't have to, Robbie. But I think the verdict's going to still out on that. We got to have somebody play point, and Maya has looked better on days, and is growing, and that's all you can ask. That kid works extremely hard. I just love the kid. She's a pleasure to coach, and she's just learning the ropes of being responsible and understanding it's okay to be responsible. It's okay to demand something from your teammates. It's not personal, but somebody's got to do it, and if I don't do it, then coach is going to get on me. And so she's learning that piece, and that's really the biggest piece for her, I think, is just commanding and demanding of her teammates. But Jordan needs to play over there on the wing if we can keep her there. There's no doubt about it. She's unguardable. She's explosive. She helps us rebound, and so we need her to be over there as much as we can.
Ben?
Coach, you mentioned the scrimmage. What stuck out to you, and what did you like from your team, and what do you see as kind of the needs improvement just in the early going?
Well, I didn't like the way we started. I thought we were sleepy in the morning. It was an early morning for us, and usually my teams are pretty good in the morning, and this one wasn't. And just disappointed in our approach to being what I call being a pro. And but that's why you do those things early. You know, that's why you go on the road in a scrimmage. And I know we learned from it. We did the half-court stuff early and really did not play well. And then once we scrimmaged, we picked it up. So I think we all learned a great deal from that day. I think our young kids learned what competition's like against other people, and in the end, you know, I think it was a great experience for all of us.
Obviously lost a lot of production with Tierra leaving. Do you do that by committee? Do you replace that production with that? And just how do you feel about your bigs?
Yeah, I think you do. You have to consider doing that by committee. I mean, 18 and 14 a night. We got spoiled with that 2 straight years. I mean, I can't remember a more dominant 5-player in a college game in a long time. And you know what she brought to the table from an offensive and defensive. I mean, you're talking about the National Defensive Player of the Year, her junior year. And so, that being said, she's I don't think you replace that with one person. I think what you see in Jessica and Promise and Yamaya at 5, again, trying to get Jessica to move to the 4 some. Jessica's game has changed and is improving, but she's really inconsistent day to day. Again, I love her. She's a wonderful kid and works really hard, but the consistency piece for her is the biggest challenge I think we have. And but her game's, you know, really changed. She's gotten so much better, more versatile. You know, I just think that the top end for her is unbelievable. And I'm excited. I get excited about Jessica because I just think she can become a really versatile problem for people. But we're not there yet. So I think Promise is coming, and Yamaya's another one. I mean, there's days that, man, you go, hey, she's getting it, she's coming. And then there's other days she's not coming. And so you got to keep working with them. You got to keep coaching and teaching and demanding. And I think for them, the understanding that this is important. I mean, there's, you know, I think we've sold over 6,000 season tickets. There's a university that's investing in our program. I think that's the thing that kids don't understand and realize the importance. We're not just hooping. You know, we're playing, and we're playing with a purpose. And so those are the kinds of things that I think you're trying to implore and teach with these young kids.
Coaches this week voted Chloe on the second team, all SEC. What does that say about her when they do that, coming off her injury?
Yeah, I think it says that they really thought she was a good player before she got hurt, and they think she's going to pick up where she left off. And I hope it's that easy, Dan. I know when you get injured like she did and have the injury she had, both her and Promise basically had reconstructed joints, you know, knees and ankles, and it takes time. And then, like I said the other day, they're healed. Our doctors have healed them. They're physically, structurally sound, but it's the mental piece that you really have to overcome, and a lot of times that takes a while, sometimes years. And And so I think for both those young ladies, that's the challenge of where they are right now. I tell you what, if you were at practice yesterday, Chloe may not have missed a shot. I mean, she looked really good. And, you know, her team really recognized that and fed off of it. And of course, my message to the rest of them was, well, the reason she's not missing a shot is because she's spending time in the gym. And I think that's the challenge that you give to these young kids that have never had the time demands that are placed on them from an academic standpoint, a workout standpoint, trying to function, get enough sleep, eat right, all those things. That's the challenge of letting them know, okay, hey, look, and besides that, I don't take enough time in practice shooting, so you're going to have to find that time on your own, and that's the challenge. But Chloe spends time in the gym. Her and Andy spend as much time shooting pre-practice as anybody I've ever had. And again, I think that's why they shoot the ball as well as they do.
With Tom and then Robbie.
Hey, Vic.
Hey, Tom.
Going from Morgan to Jazz to now possibly freshman at the one, what's the challenge for the coaching staff, not just practice-wise, but in-game, losing an extension of the coach on the floor with those two? What's maybe some of the things that you wouldn't see on a game day from our perspective?
Yeah, well, when you go from those two, and now we could be with a redshirt sophomore, Maya, or possibly a senior in Jordan who hadn't played points since her high school career, or a freshman in Aaliyah or even Jemiah. I think the thing that they're learning is be accountable for your teammates, take care of the ball. Those are the things I'm interested in. I could care less about your scoring right now. If you're my point guard, you got to make sure everybody's in the right spot. You got to communicate, and you got to be accountable for them. And I think that's the challenge with any point guard. Jazz certainly, when she ended her career, she's one of the best I've ever had. Morgan, same thing. But I think both those kids early in their career, there was a learning curve. It didn't happen overnight. Morgan had, she had a senior to kind of get her through, and so JJ, and so she had that. Then Jazz had Morgan, and so Maya now has had Jazz to kind of follow, and so it's definitely a learning curve. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot more time to get there. We got to get there pretty quick, and it's here. I mean, we're going to play Monday night against a really good team and open up against Southern Miss on a week from Saturday. So we got to get it figured out pretty quick.
Robbie.
A few weeks ago when you talked to us, you mentioned that Promise was a long ways away from really helping. I guess the conditioning.
You kept notes.
Do what?
You kept notes. I said that.
And I think most of that was conditioning, and like you said, the mental piece probably too. You got a chance to see her in live action, obviously, last week. Where do you feel like she is now heading into the first week of the season? Do you feel like she's made a big jump from that point?
Yeah. So how long ago was that when we met?
About
3 weeks. Month ago. So she's really different now. She's making it through full practice. She's able to condition. She made it. She's able to make it more than 2 trips up and down the floor without having to come out. So she's a lot different today than she was a month ago, and that's a good thing. She's still got a long way to go from the conditioning piece and really the playing piece, but she is way different and still has a long way to go. But she is way different today, and that's why I'm very encouraged by that. She played in the scrimmage Sunday and was a factor on both ends, and that's where we need our bigs to. I think that's the thing that really gets unnoticed with Tiara is the factor she was defensively. And I need these kids, especially Yamaya and Promise at 6'5", they need to understand their size and length can really be a tremendous advantage for us defensively. And if we can defend and get out, guys, this may be the fastest team I've had. I mean, Andy gets out really quick. Zaria can run the floor. Rakia gets out really good. And so this is a team that can really get out in transition. I mean, Jordan, ain't nobody faster. So this is a team that can get out and do some things in transition. And we've talked about that as a staff a little bit. That kind of is going to be a focal point for me here in the next week is trying to really spend a little more time defensively and trying to get us fixed,
Kind of a two-part question. You mentioned the polls. You guys are picked to finish third in the SEC. You know what an SEC championship team looks like. Is this a team that's capable of winning the championship? And kind of going off of that, how confident are you in this team compared to teams that you've had in the past to kind of get to that level?
Sure. So I'm really confident in this team. We're really skilled. I love our skill set. Again, it's the youth and inexperience and what comes with that. It's not that they're young and inexperienced, it's that they can be inconsistent. And that's the piece that you worry about with youth and inexperience, is the consistency piece. Those teams in the past, Tyler, going back 3 years ago to Dom, Katera, Chinway, Bree, 4 seniors, been to the wars. Man, if they knew what time the bus was loading and where from, I felt good. I felt like we had, we didn't have to just go play great. We just had to go play our game, we'd win. Then you go to the next group, which is Victoria, Morgan, Blair, and Rowe. Those guys know where we're loading from, what time we're leaving. We don't have to play great. We're going to win the game. We just play our game. And you get Jazz T, Zion, Anriel, and Jordan. Same thing with that group. I mean, just the maturity level and knowing that when the lights came on, man, there wasn't anybody or anything going to keep those kids from having the pure joy of playing the game. I mean, y'all, the average margin of victory of last year's team, and I just mentioned 3 really good teams. Last year's team didn't make it to the national championship game like the 2 before, but last year's team statistically was the #1 team in the country in point differential. Our average margin of victory was 28 points. That's off the chart. That's just a phenomenal stat. I had no idea until the NCAA sent me the plaque congratulating me on finishing first in the country in that. I had no idea. That's how good that team was. And so this year's team, really skilled, fearless. Those kids love to play, but just the consistency piece. And I saw some of the inconsistency on Sunday in our scrimmage. And so that's the thing about this year's team. But you talk about really skilled, and I think this team is really skilled. And that's why I'm so encouraged about our future. The leadership piece is always concerning, and Jordan's done a tremendous job of that, but she's the only senior. And so some days she's the Lone Ranger out there. She's very vocal, which is not her personality, but it is on the floor right now, which is great. But that's the piece that I think with this team is going to be critical, to get. And is it a championship team? Probably not today, but we're not supposed to be today. Can it be? Absolutely. Yeah, this team's really good. They're really special. I mean, it is a special group. And I think that's what I'm excited about, is to know what the growth is of this team and to watch it happen. That's why we get into coaching. I mean, I think somebody told me the other day the average age on this team is like 19. It's pretty young. I don't know that for a fact. I think somebody on my staff or somebody computed it, but man, it's a pretty young team. So is this a championship team? Yeah, absolutely. They certainly can be. But I just have to marvel when I'm reading these polls and when they give the justification on why they're doing this, why they vote us where we are. I mean, you guys can read the same thing I am. They're basing it on somebody that's never even played a minute for us, or somebody that's been hurt or had a big injury, or somebody that did something in high school but hadn't done it yet in college. And so it's, for me, I've obviously been around the block a few times. Those are pretty important things to be overlooking in my mind. And so, again, I love this team, man. I love them. They're fun to coach, and they're really talented. We've got to make sure that we keep getting better and bringing it every day.
You've had some players on your staff before, your former players join your staff. What's the dynamic like when it's your daughter? Or did y'all get that figured out when she was playing for you?
Yeah, so I think that's absolutely correct. We had it figured out, when she played for us. She earned everybody's respect as a player, and made it easy to coach her. She was very coachable, but I think her teammates made it easy to coach, have her on the team. And, unfortunately for her, she probably got Coach probably demanded more of her than he did of the rest of them on most items. But that's just it. And she wore it, man. She wore it like a champ. And at the end of the day, took 90 charges in her career. Ended up being our leading minutes player her senior year. Was the MVP of the regional her junior year in the NCAA tournament. So she earned her way. And the best story is the one where she, after her sophomore year, she's ready to look and go somewhere else and transfer. And she's what's right with college basketball and with college athletics, really, in that she wanted to play more. Look, nobody wanted to play her more than me, but you got to fix some things. You got to become a better defender on ball. You got to be a better shooter. You can't turn the ball over. I mean, I had that same conversation with other players. I want to play you, but I can't play you at the expense of us winning. And she took that, went to work that summer, and got better, as we all know. And, again, today's kids, social media, transfer portal, man, if it's not working, let me get out here and try it somewhere else. She didn't do that. And she could have gone a lot of places, y'all, been an instant starter, no problem. So, having her and Dominique and Katera in a staff meeting can be comical sometimes, because what they see compared to what they think they went through is sometimes so far different. And that's why they're going to be great coaches. I mean, we have camp in the summer, and I let my former players, or our current players and former players at work camp, they become the camp coaches. When we have games, and I walk by the benches of these current players and former players and hear what's coming out of their mouth, and I think to myself, I had to scream that at you for 4 years and you never once got it. Now listen to you and what you're saying now. They did get it. I was telling them they were listening, but you don't realize that they got it until they're in that moment coaching those kids, and they're saying the same things that you've been coaching to them. So it's really unique and special. But those three look, they got jobs on my staff because they're good at what they do. And I think that's, Katera and Dom, Blair, all three of them are going to be great coaches. And I'm just so proud to have them here. And they're making us better.
Ben?
Coach, you mentioned Umaya sort of working in that front court mix and trying to build that consistency. Coming from junior college, how different is that than, say, molding a freshman? And I guess how much does that help prepare her for the D1 level?
So it's quite different playing at this level versus junior college, and understanding that we only have 2 years now to help her grow and change. When you say grow, you got to grow, you got to change. And I think for Umaya, she's got to be on that fast track because she doesn't have 4 years. And so it's real important for her right now to practice with a sense of urgency, play with a sense of urgency, and understand the importance that she can impact our program. And that's why we recruited her. We don't typically recruit junior college players to sit on the bench. We recruited her with a sense that she was going to come here and play some big minutes for us. So again, she's getting better. She played really well in Italy. She probably was playing as well as anybody over there, but of course we didn't have Promise, no Chloe, no Jordan. And I think that's the encouraging piece for me, is to know how well we played over there against some really good teams from different countries, and yet we didn't have what potentially could be 3 of our top players. But Umaya's another one, a good kid, works really, really hard, just learning what competing at this level is all about, and it's completely different.
We have time for one more. Finish your plug-in.
Vic, what's Bree Amber's status with the team?
So right now, we're just dealing with some things internally, and we'll kind of leave it at that right now.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate y'all being here. Praise the Lord and go Dogs.